NFL Week 4, Thursday Night Football, NFC West divisional game. We're talking Seahawks, Cardinals. Almost a quarter of the season is behind us, but we still do have the sample size issue. 3 games isn't always enough to tell us the true identity of teams. Although this Thursday Night Football game, we do have a bit more relative data we can use because both teams share common opponents. Both teams are 2-1, both straight up and against the spread. Both teams won and covered the spread against the Saints. Both teams lost to the 49ers. On the surface, we can see the big difference involves the Saints game. Yes, the Cardinals won, but they were outgained on the box score, which is a big difference compared to what Seattle did to the Saints. Seattle ran 16 fewer plays in their win and still outgained the Saints. Both teams lost to the Niners as 1.5-point underdogs, but the Cardinals covered as road dogs, where Seattle failed to cover as home dogs. Besides some like team tendency stuff and matchup related stuff, we can't really take too much away from those games. The one non-common opponent game might actually be more telling. Arizona played Carolina and won, but the Panthers outgained them and snuck into the back door for the against the spread cover. So if you're paying attention here, Arizona has now been outgained in all 3 of their games this season. Seattle's non-common opponent game was Pittsburgh, a cross-country road trip, early kickoff, but Seattle still dominated. Do we really want to back the road team, though, here on Thursday night? Remember last week in the Miami-Buffalo game preview I did? I talked about how in Thursday night games, it's a short week, which is more of a negative for the road team because it's already less time to prepare and they lose a day to travel. But what I should have mentioned is early in the season, these quick turnaround games mean a lot less compared to like mid to late season when teams are more banged up and need longer recovery time. Also, when we have a divisional game, the less time to prepare angle is less significant because it's an opponent you're already very familiar with. It's much different preparing for a team you don't see twice a year. So it's not as much of a negative for the road team, and the market seems to reflect this as well, with the line flipping here from Arizona as small favorites to now small dogs. Arizona was 2.5-point favorites in the look-ahead line, but with Seattle blowing out the Saints, coupled with the Cardinals losing RB1 James Conner for the season, it's no surprise this line has now since flipped to Seattle being favorites. If you like these team previews, I do them for each game every week. I just don't have the time to do them on social media because I bet full time. This social media stuff is kind of just my hobby. And you can access all the team previews and the bets I'm making inside the Betting Network 2.0 Discord community. Invite link to join is in all my social media bios. Now, my numbers make Seattle the better team here. 1.2-point favorites to be exact on a neutral field. But when we apply home field advantage for Arizona, we get down to a pick 'em. But how much is Arizona's home field truly worth? I'm not sure it's even worth a full point in this spot. And I know it's tough to give Seattle a ton of credit for their win over a bottom 5 team in New Orleans, but I think the win and the style of win is more impressive than many think. It wasn't the best situational spot for Seattle. Anytime you're playing a non-conference or a non-divisional opponent with a divisional op on deck, it's kind of like a look-ahead spot, especially when it's only a few days away like Seattle had here. It's not so much like the lack of focus looking ahead, but I mean, think about it as like a head coach, dealing with players who are banged up. Do you play them in the less meaningful game and risk further injury, or save them for the more meaningful game in a few days? So that can always play into these look-ahead spots. So that's now 2 less than ideal situational spots Seattle's overcome to win by margin, while Arizona's been outgained in all 3 of their games. Arizona has had turnover luck on their side too, while Seattle has had to overcome 5 turnovers to Arizona's 1. Another advantage is Seattle, they got to sit some starters late in their blowout win over Arizona. Over the Saints, and Arizona was in a dogfight to the final buzzer. Then had to go and travel back home after a tough emotional loss to the Niners. I like Seattle here. And, it's kind of crazy to think, like, one of these teams is going to be 3-1, which is vastly overachieving compared to their season projections. Both teams have regular season win totals of 8 or 8.5, and if Arizona ends up winning and they're 3-1, I think Jonathan Gannon could end up being a favorite for Coach of the Year. Because really, what is Coach of the Year? It's basically the coach of the team that overachieves the most. What would be fitting is a tie in this game. Wonder what the odds are for that. So I think I'm going to side with Seattle here. I think they're the healthier team. That James Conner loss is tough. He's a 1,000-yard rusher in each of the last 2 years, and I know running backs are like a dime a dozen, but it's not like Arizona's offense can afford to lose any key pieces. Seattle's the overall better team right now, but I also really like the Cardinals in a teaser. Each week I post games that fit what I call the optimized Wong teasers. It's a checklist of rules, and so far games that fit this checklist are 13-2 this year, 8-0 the last 2 weeks. There's 4 teams that fit right now for week 4. One of them is the Cardinals, but unfortunately with teasers, you have to pair it up with another one. So as much as I like the Cardinals, I'm not sure who else I could pair it with. There's one other team I really like, but I'm going to stop here. Until next time, good luck with your bets.